Hello guys, welcome to this video, and in this video guys we are going to look at the trades which I did over the past weeks, and we will be looking back a little bit too far than the last weeks. Obviously it's kind of like an educational content, and it's obviously I would guarantee that you guys would be can get a big benefit out of this video, because this is real life experience of trading the market in a lifetime. I will be showing you guys the each one of my trades which I did over the past weeks, and you guys can see those trades here, and my entry points, my stop losses, and my targets, and every single thing. Okay, so here, this is the channel where I just created for generally my trades of 2023, but inadvertently I I mean, unintentionally, I just sometimes, more often, I just, as a usual process, it's kind of like a habit, have become a habitual process, because more often, I had I used it to open this channel whenever I done a trade, whenever I done a trade, or, you know, I got some ideas, I got some new words, some out of nowhere, from some videos or whatever the resources could be. I like the literature. I like, some other topics too, like, the philosophical topics, or it could be like psychology or science and technology, whatever the topics it could be. I like those topics, and I collect the data and informations about those topics, and I just put that over this channel because I open this more often. So this is the channel I had been using this for journaling my trades, and okay, sometimes I post the random Twitter funny memes in this video, or sometimes trading related videos. It doesn't matter at all. But most often, I do post the trades of mine, which I took the real time trades. You can see that I longed here, and I just closed that long over here. So it was a long trade, and I got a profit, and I exited from that trade. So this was one of my running trade. You guys can see a small little bit of positions. I would say it was in GBP USD. That's RV, also known as Cable. That is what is well known among the FX traders. Cable, yeah, that's its nickname of GBP USD, and I had a making a little bit of positions in this. Here also you guys can see that this there was a position in gold. So my real time trades and my the trade ideas about the market. It could be also in Bitcoin or the gold, whatever the asset could be. Okay, that was a little bit. By the way, guys, let's start looking at these things. Okay, let's yeah. So the last of my trade idea was this. In Bitcoin, I had a three tab setup over here. Volatility expansion is going to come, it was ahead. So I thought it could be coming down. Um, okay. And RSI, it's also in a bearish control zone. Let's have a look at, what happened there. So this is what happened after that. I just shorted this from here, and I could set it up, the trade, you know, I made this trade, and sure, this break in this market structure or somewhere over here, and I had a stop loss here above this box, and I could get a move to here. I set up my stop losses a little bit. It's based on the ideas. I just watch the trades when it runs. I place this trade over the buy me, and whenever I'm trading in a 1 minute, I would be in front of the monitor, either I'm still watching this, trading view or my Bybit account whenever the trade's running, because in scalping we should be there, most of time, to manage the trades. Sometimes the trades take some, it takes a, um, yeah, it gets a switching in the bias. The bias would often switch, takes a turn, U-turn. The market takes a U-turn sometimes. You need to be there, to change the trade ideas. Whenever the market shifts its turn, it's kind of like you are the driver. um, Sometimes the good phrase to actually represent this problem could be: suppose you are riding a bike and you don't know where the actual route of that. You are just going, or it could be like you are a horse rider. You are riding that horse, and you don't know the actual way, because suppose you are living in a ancient era, there isn't Google Maps or something. Okay, there isn't. So you just have to go wherever you are seeing a good way in front of you. So it's the same process. Like you need to switch, or you need to drive the horse by like the actual hoist riders are riding them. They often beat the hoist in order to actually change its direction, or they sometimes hold strongly over that clasp, which is tied on the neck of that horse. So they do all these processes to actually change its direction. So the same process is what you have to do whenever you are trading. You have to, close your trades whenever the market is feels like, it's also it's most often it gives you some indicative before it takes a change in its direction, and you can understand those things, and you can get some prerequisite, some sort of a thought process instead of your mind. If you are a well experienced trader, you need to spend a ton of time in front of your monitor by watching this price action. That creates an emotional memory in front of you. It's kind of like you get all these fractures which is embedded on your mind, and once you are getting into that state, you don't need it to be worried about anything. You can be like, sitting in front of the PC and trade, 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 bam, bam, bam. You can see that sort of execution skills, which you can see in an experienced trader. Even if you are watching the videos of ICT or any other big trader, they have been in this industry for a long time, and they have been posting these videos over the Twitter. Big, they sometimes, their execution videos. You can see that over their platforms, like CT, no Twitter. They often take the partials. The most often take the partial take profit is a good habit. I follow that. It's a good methodology which you can follow always all the time. So I just pointed out that the price of the Bitcoin is going to come down to this point, and obviously it was my stop loss, a little bit above of this, a little bit above. I just keep the stop losses there, and I just move that randomly, you know, during that time period, because I would be always in front of the PC whenever I trade in a scalping, kind of like in 1 minute chart. I do, that's a necessary process, because in 1 minute you shouldn't be like, oh well, I just put the trade and we can be like going out for a dinner and let the trade playing out. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if it's gonna hit my TP, or it's not the case, guys. It's not the case actually, because you are trading in a long time frames, and the volatility of the long time frames could be even higher. If you are placing the stop losses at the ATR or ACR, average kind of range or average directional range basis points, there is how to methodology which the people actually use to pick up their stop loss points, and I personally prefer that based on the technical levels. Most of the people would do that. But there is how some people they actually get the stop loss point by using the volatility range like the ADR or ACR or ATR indicator indicators. So that's also something which yeah, they can rely upon that if they are having an edge of that, like if they have a good experience on how to manage their trades based on that, and they can do that. There is no issue with that. So well, guys, I'm having some issues with my voice. Oh, okay. So, well, let's yeah, this played out, and the trade is played out, and I got the profit. So here I had a long position in the Bitcoin because this was a really nice three tap setup. Okay, whenever if you are seeing, guys, this three tap setup, the price is coming down like this, and the RSI is moving up. So this you should be waiting for a three tap in a large time frame. Most often, if you're following this RSI stuff based on your 1 minute chart, and then there is have a good probability that you're getting a fake out. So if you were trading this, you can be like making a long here and trying to close that here. It's kind of like a little bit more, not a big move. So if you are seeing some sort of a rejection from here, then you should be quitting that trade. Uh, yeah, you should be cutting that trade at least within this market structure brick area. I would be really interested to actually show you that, guys. Yeah, I can explain that. So here, that's a complex process, and um, yeah, I don't know even how sometimes I yeah, I would be crossing this trade here if I had a long here. There should be your arms above the mouse. You should be dragging your stop losses like this. You make the entry whenever you see this sort of a divergence here and a bullish engulfing and this little bit structural break, and here your entry. Once the price breaks above your entry and you got a nice move. Here you take the partials, which means you book the first TP. Like suppose you had risked $30 or $40 in this trade, and this is kind of like a 1:1, not even a 1:2. So in scalps, I do trade the trades of which is even lower than uh, 1:2. Sometimes that there are it doesn't matter if it is 1:2 or 1:1. If you are having a good winning ratio like 1:2, um, yeah, if you are having an 80% winning ratio in a 1:1 strategy, then I would say it's sometimes it's better than the strategies or the setups that you're having a 50% winning ratio and a absolute uh, I would say 1:2 risk reward ratio, and sometimes you won't even get that. It's a reality. If you have been in this trading industry for a long time, then there is how the drawdowns which come across, and the way which you can maximize your winning ratio is by taking the partials. And when you take the partials, then you won't be ending up you wouldn't ending up yeah, it's most of the time you wouldn't end up in a perfect 1:2 risk reward ratio chart. That sort of things. It's not even possible. So you should be dragging this SL. I can do that in MetaTrader or in a Bybit. Binance, it's not even possible, but you cannot change your stop losses by dragging it. It's been a long time since I did my last trade over the Binance because of their issues, which got affected by FTX. I'm a little bit conservative about the Binance too, and I had moved all my funds from the Binance to Bybit. I wouldn't say Bybit is an also safe exchange, but it's only a 10% of my total portfolio which I'm keeping right now on a Bybit. So if any problem is comes to Bybit, then I would be losing my 10% of that. So, but nowadays I'm withdrawing all my profits which I'm getting from this trading. Whenever I'm done the trade, I have this habit of withdrawing that from this exchange because I'm no longer ready to trust them, because I just escaped from that FTX even, I would say for a narrow bit of hair. That's a common proverb in my native language. So it's kind of like, uh, yeah, it was a disastrous events. I what I did for moving I had a little bit amount of money out of the FTX, and it wasn't so huge because I was no longer trading over there. I had moved into the prop firm accounts like the FX brokers that do offer the trading facilities already. Um, you know, yeah, the bit crypto. Yeah, I've been using 8cap. It has the Bitcoin and other cryptos like the altcoins has no volume, had no volume to actually trade. Um, big spread issues also there. So I rather prefer trading only in Bitcoin there, and sometimes I got the spread issues there also. And once the bear market, also called as crypto winter starter, there wasn't enough liquidity in order to execute the large positions of the market, and it was a terrible issue. And the exchanges also increased the fees of the market orders, like maker fees and taker fees, and just skyrocketed. And it's just also a big problem for me to actually trade on a crypto exchange. And so I had a little bit leftovers over the FTX exchange, and I could withdraw that successfully by using some techniques. I would say like that. Just so they had three ways which the people actually tried to move their funds from FTX. One of them was kind of like NFT selling, and the second method was getting Bahamas KYC, getting somebody who has a Bahamas KYC and buying their KYCs and making, if they are having done any KYC, they do this Bahamas KYC and getting their funds out of the FTX. And the third methodology is what I did. I just launched a Bitcoin in the FTX, and a short of that already Bybit. And what I got is, obviously I lost the money over the FTX and got that at the same time at the Bybit, because it's a hedging process. Whenever you long at the FTX, with a, like, I would say like a $5,000 worth of position, and once you get liquidated over that FTX, you may be losing. Yeah, you will lose that $5,000 of amount of money. And at the same time, if you are short on the Bybit with that 5,000 US dollars of money, and you would be getting the same amount of profit. So you would be ending up at $10,000 in total profit. And that's how I moved my money out of the FTX to Bybit, and then I could successfully withdraw that. But I had a stressful environment at that moment too, because it's not sure what the price actually do. It was kind of like a terrible process, and I had a really stressful day at those times. When the price was in a large volatile way, I was really scared. um, yeah, obviously, because my only aim was actually move my funds out of the FTX. Uh, Even though it's a hedge trade, what if the profit is getting on the FTX side and the loss is coming on the Bybit? And also there is only a 20x facility, 20x leverage option over the FTX, but that big, huge volatile move down was really enough to actually turn all, get all that long liquidator, at the same time getting the profit on the Bybit, because Bybit provides more than 20x leverage for me. So I did move the funds in that way from the FTX to Bybit. it was a successful event, I would say. So here, this three tab setup was a nice long opportunity, and I just moved. If I were trading this divergence here, I would be looking. I would personally, I wouldn't pick up, this divergence based trades over this 1 minute because what I see here is a resistance, and I had called this move also. You guys can see that. I would be yeah, I would be really interested to show you guys. So here, you guys can see that this was that. So this was a resistance. Price got back, and once you are getting a rejection from this point and price coming back into here, I wouldn't be setting up any longs. That's my I would like to explain that a little bit details in another video of how to trade the supply and demand zones. If you guys need any sort of tutorial videos on the basic topics like supply and demands and support resistances, and you guys can request those videos, and I will be making that out, and I will be uploading those videos into YouTube. So here, that trade done very well, and here another. This is kind of like a gold. This was a pivot called unfinished auction, and whenever you are seeing this sort of a price action, you'll often get a move below of that. So it was a short opportunity for me. I picked a short over the gold, and yeah, I think it went really successful. Trade was this also, but it took a lot of time to actually get, yeah, get it to in a successful side or in a winning side. Here, this is an example of getting this support. Sometimes you guys can call that this way, because this was a gold and price really moved back higher. Listen my experience. 'Cause, yeah, this is a support zone, and once you're seeing this sort of a chart patterns forming on the support zone and creating a move higher, then it is um, something. I don't know. Yeah, here this is kind of like some rules which um, I read it. I write this here. This is one major lesson I got over and over again. Never go all in by listening to others because there would be newses. There would be random um, opinions about the gold, and this is something which I write really hard here in this channel because the gold is one of the assets. It get discussed globally because globally there should be the opinions of the major uh, news market update news, CNBC like platforms. They would be saying like the gold is going to go down or the gold is going to go up. Never you shouldn't listen to them. That's one thing which you should be always care about. And here this is one example of gold trades again, and I had a short. I risked that. I laddered my initial risk into this trade. This is another topic. Never trade against the trend in the gold because and it's narrowing. And once you get the narrow and a crossover and a volatility expansion here, and then you pick up the trades. Um, and there is another okay, this is it's takes a lot of time to actually explain this all, but yeah, oftentimes I draw something like this because yeah, it's sometimes if the price is ranging here more and more time, because this was at the time where I did draw this because the gold is ridiculous sometimes. Whenever you are in a low volatile territory, the price moves in this atmosphere. If you listen to this, you can. So you guys can see this is a inverse head and shoulder, but if you guys are putting the trades here, your stop losses would be hitting very quicker because the next thing the price actually did was, yeah, you guys can see that the price really came down, to make another big, inverse head and shoulder, and it happens all the time. And this was the trace of, yeah, I'm it's kind of like I'm asking the questions myself whenever I see these patterns. Let's go to the channel of 2023. They are the first trades of mine, And that is how these things go. The trade summary trade. I did two trades at that day, I trade one win and trade two also win. So this was the first trade, a really narrow PVSRA dragon. I shorted here. My target was somewhere around here. I shorted this. This is a real-time example and started getting into the loss territory, but it was kind of like a small risk. And once the price breaks this, I will be adding more because this is the confirmation which I have been having that at those times. And shallow close here, and once the shallow close is getting into the lower, it means that the trend is losing its momentum, and momentum convergence here. It also indicating that the momentum is going to shift its, from the upside momentum to the downside. It's going to take that shift at these times at this area, and I showed that here they were, it was having an RSI bullish div, but I never made any sort of decisions based on that. I started holding this trade because it's in one of the examples of the how the gold actually reacts to the price or more often. So I even doubted that it's kind of like it's a head trap. Head trap means it's kind of like if it's gonna create a big inverse head and shoulder here, then the price would be again going up. But I waited that waited at these moments because there was a little bit of volatility, and whenever you seeing that the volatility below 50% died on a BBWP, and it's not there is not enough power to generate that sort of a big move which creates the breakout, so breakdown from any sort of a ranging patterns or any classical chart patterns. That's what it indicates. And here you got this move bounce from 200 EMA. That's my second question. And I'm questioning myself, like it's kind of like that. It's a self-questioning process, which you get these sort of questions in your mind, from your trading experiences. I had this idea, kind of like, what if the price is gonna bounce from this 200 EMA, and I would be losing this trade if I never had this take profit, there. So the same thing happened. I closed that trade. You guys can see that. Well, I closed it. It's kind of like a $23 profit. A little bit amount of risk I put in. Yeah, here is this example. I closed this trade. Shorter here, added into my short here, closed this trade. Well, it's kind of like a planning. I said myself, if the price is breaking this, price is gonna break this area. Once the price breaks this area, I will be adding more. I added more. I closed those two trades at the same time. That's what you can see. You guys can see here, two positions. Adder here at this breakdown, and then closed it. I managed to close this at the 200 EMA when I felt like, okay, this green candle was an indicative that's going to go up from here, because this green candle means had a huge volume, and this is a nice order block. And the price comes back into that. Oh, I'm gonna switch my bias from short side to long side, and that's what it means. Then well, here I added another long. I started adding long from here. Okay, whenever I saw this sort of a big green candle and this established order block, or a demand zone, highly demand zone, because we are seeing a small consolidation candle which has a nice amount of volume instead of that, and the next candle which breaks that, getting a ton of liquidity and a ton of short strap it at the downside, and it also indicates that price is going to go higher the far better way than you expected. So here you guys can see that I longed here and I longed here, means I'm adding more into my long. That's what it is mean. I could manage to close that trade in a big profitable way, and that's what you guys can see here. This is my trade history. The first two trades, first, okay, this is all the 2023 trades was starting here, 23. Yeah, this point is selling. Okay, this is the first two shorts, 23, 33. Okay, this kind of like over $50 trade profit from that first two trades. First one single trade because that the second one was adding to that trade. And here three longs I made. This is kind of like I made that long. Closed in a $5 loss. But this 51 and 71 is kind of like over a 120 bucks profit out of that trade, 120 or 115, and it's in total it was like $180 profit at that day I made from trading with gold. And more examples. Okay, Dragon Slope neutral, and I was I've been looking to actually short, but the Dragon Slope was neutral, kind of like a neutral, so I expected the price even more going up. It's kind of like a trapping head and shoulder, and I wear that and form the price. It turns out that's gonna go up from here. Yeah, I made a really terrible amount of profit on that day, first day of trading my 2023 trades were very nice. Here also, you guys can see the same day of my gold executive trading. It's kind of like uh, it's a long process that here. And what I did after that, that's the question. I closed this trade here. This was a high area of that, it's a level which we should be looking for the next to reach the gold. Was there any other trades which I did? I suppose there wasn't anything because oh, it's a short. I made a short after that because I had a bias switch. I had a bias switch. The reason behind the bias switch was the 15-minute RSI divergence, bearish divergence, never hollered it. So due to the big giant volatility print. Okay, so here I made a short, but I processed that trade earlier. Kind of like not on this, but I think it was on gold. I booked the take profit earlier, and what if I were holding that trade even more? I could be in a nice big profit area. So here, yeah, I'm questioning myself, like if it's gonna be like a big long signal or not. So this is it. This is kind of like advices and self messages and everything which I found out clearly out of the market, my trades, my trade setups and everything. So yeah, but Bitcoin, and there will be a video of market update tomorrow. It will be coming. uh, and it's kind of like weekly analysis, weekly trade journaling, and weekly, the pre-market open planning, and every single things will be there out there. Tomorrow maybe, most probably you guys can expect that video. And I wish myself that it could be one of the best videos out there. You guys can see that the 1 minute is printed a ton of low volatile movement, and when the NY is gonna open, it should be with a gap most often. That's what it usually turns out to be, at least in my experience. And this is the ES chart. ES is making pretty much a big range here, and it's showing potentially a bullish engulfing pattern in the last days, and most probably it's going to break out from this range to the upside. And that's what it seems like. The possible case scenarios, but What if this thing is gonna go up and take this liquidity again and coming back to an even more stronger or much more stronger way? And it's also possible. It's case scenario out there. We should be expecting more of things and never be going blindly on any. Never get married to any sort of certain biases is also really important in trading. You should be really um, capable, or you should be really able to switch your ideas whenever the market switch that. As I said in the earlier or at the beginning of this session, like as an example of a horse riding. At the time of ancient or our Google Maps. You need to go whenever you find a way, good way and a good pathway to ride your horse, and uh, you should be riding that horse whenever you see that way, because that is the only possible way which you can at least expect some sort of a relief. To find out some more people and get more socialization at those times. We are seeing much more people in that way. You guys can ask out the way, actual way to that people's and that to that people. Okay, so now it's gold. What about the gold? And gold made a big move higher. Um, yeah, that's a nice thing because I never traded this Friday because I had another programs, some functions on Friday, so I couldn't trade this gold Friday. But this nice horrible move, guys. It even reached the high of 1869. That's nice. The gold basic rule in the gold is never trade against the trend. Whenever you are trading against the trend, then you are done. The market is gonna kill you. Okay. So guys, bye bye. I'm gonna finish this video here. Wishing everybody good night. See you guys again. Okay. Yeah, let's make it together. If you guys are having any idea about making any sort of videos, tutorial videos, trading related videos, then I will be making that way. I'm really interested in that. Whenever I'm getting the time, whenever you are getting the time, whenever you are really interested to communicate or discuss the topics which are related to trading, you guys can send just DM me and or call me, and I would be really interested to talk in this topic. It's really interesting actually, to actually talk or having connection with the same interest, uh, people with same that are sharing the same passion. Oh yeah, I'm gonna wind up this. It's more than half an hour of time which we start this video. So here I'm gonna wind up this. It's about to get 40-minute duration of a video, and it takes a lot of time to actually get it uploaded to Europe. So here I'm winding up.